You see, most people walk into a Ferrari dealership, sign a $300,000 check, and drive out thinking they just made a smart decision. They didn't. They just bought the most expensive mistake of their life, because the second those wheels hit public road, that car loses $50,000. Just like that, gone. But there's a small group of people who wait. They wait for that same Ferrari to crash. They wait for the insurance company to panic. They wait for the price to drop to $80,000 and then they buy it. That's not stupidity, that's strategy. If you enjoy real car stories like this, subscribe, because this gets crazier. Matt Armstrong doesn't buy new supercars. He buys destroyed ones. Lamborghinis with shattered front ends, McLarens with torn off doors, Ferraris that look like they lost a fight with a guardrail, and he turns them into profit. Here's what most people don't understand about crashed supercars. The damage you see is almost never as bad as it looks. A crumpled hood, that's cosmetic. A broken headlight, that's replaceable. But fear sells. And when someone sees a wrecked Lamborghini, they see risk. They see complexity. They see a nightmare. Matt sees opportunity, because while everyone else is running away from these cars, he's running toward them, and the market rewards that. Let me show you the math. Brand new Lamborghini Huracan, $250,000. You drive it off the lot, it's worth $220,000. You own it for 2 years, it's worth $180,000. You crashed it lightly, insurance totals it. Salvage auction price, $65,000. That's where Matt steps in. He buys that $65,000 wreck, spends $40,000 on parts and labor. Now he's all in at $105,000. He finishes the rebuild, clean title, fully functional. Market value $170,000. That's a $65,000 profit on a car someone else gave up on, but that's where it gets interesting. Because Matt doesn't just make money when he sells the car. He makes money while he fixes it. Every bolt he turns, every panel he replaces, every problem he solves, that's content. YouTube content, and YouTube pays. He turned a rebuild into a business model. And the insurance companies, they're feeding him every single day. Because insurance companies don't want projects. They want speed. Someone crashes a $200,000 McLaren, the insurance company doesn't care if it's fixable. They care about closing the claim, fast payout, move on, next case. So they sell it cheap, auction it off, get it off their books. And that creates a gap, a massive gap between salvage price and repair cost. That gap is pure profit for anyone willing to take the risk. But here's the problem, it is a risk. Because not every crashed supercar is a good deal. Some of them are traps, electrical nightmares, frame damage that makes the car undrivable, missing parts that cost more than the car itself. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you're gambling. Matt's bought cars that looked perfect in photos, got them delivered, opened the door, and realized the entire wiring harness was melted. That's a $30,000 surprise on a car he thought would be a $15,000 fix. And then things got worse. Because once you're in, you're in. You can't just return a crashed Lamborghini. You own the problem now. And the market doesn't care about your budget. Parts cost what they cost. Labor costs what it costs. And if you run out of money halfway through, you're stuck with a half-built supercar that's worth less than the shell you started with. That's the edge. That's what separates the people who make money from the people who lose it. Matt's been doing this long enough to know which crashes are cosmetic and which ones are structural. He knows which parts he can source cheap and which ones he has to pay full price for. He knows when to walk away and when to double down. That knowledge is worth more than the car. But here's what makes crashed supercars such a powerful investment. People still want them, even after they've been wrecked. Even after they've been rebuilt. Because at the end of the day, it's still a Ferrari, it's still a Lamborghini, it's still a supercar. And for most people, owning a supercar is a dream. They don't care if it was crashed 5 years ago. They care that it's sitting in their driveway now, and they're willing to pay for that feeling. So the demand is there, the supply is there, the profit margin is there. The only question is, can you execute? This is where the real risk begins. Because buying a crashed supercar isn't just about money, it's about skill, it's about patience, it's about understanding that you're not just buying a car, you're buying a problem, and your job is to solve it cheaper than anyone else would. Matt's entire strategy is built on that. He doesn't outsource the work. He doesn't pay dealership prices. He gets his hands dirty. He learns the systems. He sources his own parts. He films the process. And by the time the car is done, he's made money 3 different ways: the rebuild profit, the YouTube revenue, and the reputation boost that leads to the next deal. That's not luck. That's architecture. And the craziest part? He's not the only one doing this anymore. There's an entire economy growing around crash supercars. People are learning the business. They're studying his videos. They're finding their own deals. They're taking the same risks, and some of them are winning because the opportunity is real. Insurance companies will always total cars too early. Buyers will always overpay for new, and there will always be a gap in between, a gap filled with wrecked exotics that are worth more than anyone realizes. But here's the thing Matt figured out early. The car is just the entry point. The real value isn't in the metal. It's in the story. It's in the transformation. It's in showing people that the thing they thought was destroyed can actually be saved. That's what keeps people watching. That's what builds the audience. And that's what turns a single crashed Ferrari into a career. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, Matt bought a McLaren 720 S that had been totaled in a front-end collision. The entire nose was gone, hood crumpled, headlights shattered. Most people saw scrap. He saw a $90,000 discount. He bought it, started tearing it down, and 3 videos in, he found something. The frame was bent, not badly, but enough that it changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't a cosmetic rebuild anymore. This was structural, and if he couldn't fix it right, the car would never drive straight again. He could have walked away, sold it for parts, taken the loss, but he didn't. He found a frame specialist, paid extra, fixed it properly, and kept filming. That single problem became 10 episodes. Those 10 episodes became 2 million views, and when the car was finally done, it sold for $40,000 more than he projected. The bent frame made him more money than a clean one would have. Because people don't just want to see success. They want to see struggle. They want to see the moment where it almost falls apart. And then they want to see the comeback. That's the formula. That's what makes crashed supercars better than new ones. Not just financially, but narratively. Every dent tells a story. Every repair is a chapter. And every finished car is proof that value isn't destroyed by impact. It's just relocated. Matt's psychology is simple. He doesn't see a crashed car as a loss. He sees it as a car on sale. And the worse it looks, the better the deal. Because most people are emotional buyers. They see damage and feel fear. He sees damage and calculates cost. That gap between emotion and logic is where the profit lives. And now the market's catching up. Crashed supercar prices are rising because more people understand the game. Auction bids are getting competitive. The easy deals are harder to find. But the opportunity isn't gone. It's just evolved. Because the people who are winning now aren't just buying and flipping. They're building brands. They're creating content. They're turning one car into a platform. And that platform generates income long after the car is sold. This isn't just about cars anymore. It's about media. It's about leverage. It's about taking something the world sees as broken and turning it into something valuable. And here's the bigger picture. This model works beyond supercars. It works for anything with high perceived risk and low actual cost. It works when fear drives price down and knowledge drives value up. It works when you're willing to bet on yourself. Matt Armstrong proved that crashed supercars aren't junk. They're underpriced assets in a market that rewards patience and skill. And whether you're buying a wrecked Lamborghini or just trying to see opportunity where others see disaster, the lesson is the same. The biggest returns don't come from playing it safe. They come from buying what everyone else is afraid to touch and then proving them wrong.